All right, welcome to the third and final session of the three-part online SEO course. It's 3 times 90 minutes. We want to teach you how to learn how to boost lead generation and sales from your website through organic search engine optimization. If you have any questions from the last session or in general, just throw them into the chat and we'll probably address the questions throughout this sessions and at the end of this presentation. So let's dive right into it. All right, so in today's session, let's quickly recap the last session. We spoke about technical SEO. We discussed that content is king. Well, sort of. Search engine optimized content is king. Then we introduced micro-SEO strategies. We're going to talk more about the specific components of a micro-SEO strategy today. Then Daniel spoke about conversion rate optimization. You know, the goal of organic SEO is to get people to a website, right? But if they don't convert into prospects or customers, only half is achieved of what we want to do here. And then we did the recap and Q&A. Today, we're going to talk about Google Search Console. It's probably the most important tool that gets us direct information from Google, lets us communicate directly with Google in regards to our website. Then we're going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to take a look at specific components of a successful micro SEO strategy. Then backlinks, it's sort of like the last, I think one of the last problems that Google still has to figure out, right? It's one of the most important ranking signals in Google's algorithm. So we'll take a close look at backlinks, how to earn high quality backlinks for your website. We'll talk about off-page optimization, everything that happens outside of your website. And then my absolute favorite topic, social media. No, I really not a huge fan of social media anymore. However, it needs to be part of your SEO strategy. So we'll show you how to do social media for SEO, and then recap, conclusion, and Q&A, and then off we go. All right, so let's take a look at the Search Console. All right, if you have a website, this is probably one of the most important tools that you need to have access to. All right, so I'll quickly go through just like some of the most important sections here of Search Console. Right here at the top, and by the way, simply do a Google search for Google Search Console, and then it's pretty intuitive on how to set it up. Then, okay, so right here at the top, Search Console Insights, that is currently being beta tested by Google. So you'll get a quick little snapshot of, you know, what are the most searched queries. Basically, Google wants to highlight interesting information. For example, you know, my personal website, the Chris Ralph website, apparently I ranked number 2 for international SEO expert average position. And I think that's globally. So let's take a look at that. I mean, this is a very interesting keyword, right? So right now, I guess number 1 and 2, plus that's the Google business profile. Interesting keyword, right? So we probably want to optimize this website even further. I mean, we haven't touched it in a long time. So yeah, quick snapshot of what's going on with your website. Then let's take a look at the inspect any URL here. This is a very important feature. So basically, you just grab the URL of a page, you plug it into here, you hit enter, and then you'll see something like this. All right, so on a page-by-page level, you can really get a ton of information. You know, is the URL actually indexed in Google? You know, what's the mobile usability? Just get a quick snapshot of what's going on. And then what's really cool here, you can test the live page, view how actually Google sees your this page in terms of code, in terms of you know, how people see it. You also have more information with you know, hey, here are some issues that you may want to address. So this is a really cool tool that gives you a ton of information on a page-by-page level. SE ranking also has a similar feature right here. It's called the on-page SEO checker. You simply run an audit for a page in relation to a search term. So we did that earlier today. You can see we're getting an overall score of 78. And then, you know, there are some issues. Simply click on this link here. And then Daniel, if you just quickly want to run through this report, just maybe highlight a few things that, you know, we would pay attention to.
Yeah, and then very quickly on Tuesday, we also outlined the tech audit report from SE ranking. And I just want to point out how that is different than this, right? We actually use both. So initially, when we start working on the website, we do the first report, which is the tech audit report. And that's going to clean a lot of things, and it's going to pick up a lot of technical issues on a site-wide basis. And those are very important to be cleaned and corrected. Once that is complete, then we really start doing this report, which is what we call internally the one-page optimization, right? Which you run on a page-by-page basis. And this one's different because you put in the URL, but then you also put in the target keyword. And then it gives you a really detailed report on how or what opportunities are available on this page to really increase the on-page optimization for that specific keyword, right? So if I was to run this report with a different keyword, these would be different metrics. So when we know what the keyword is and we've done all the technical fixes first and we run this, again, same thing here, right? The errors or things that are really important that we want to address. Obviously, all the check items that are passed are good things to go, and then the warnings are good to have. When you export the report, again, if you're going to send this to somebody to work on it, you can do the same thing we did with the report on Tuesday, which is to say, I want this report only to show the errors or errors and warnings. In this example, we outlined everything. So as you scroll down, you see everything that's in green or things that are passing, right? And then boom, red one, keyword to the meta description. We all know that's a big one, right? When you write a meta description, the main keyword should be in there. In this case, it's not. So that's a green one, right? And the great thing about this is that it makes it really easy to understand what are the to-do items on a specific page for you to get that page really, really well optimized for specific keywords, right? Again, keywords on the alt attributes. Are those important? Well, yeah. Are they like extremely important? Not necessarily. Are they going to help with the optimization of the page? We think so. So, you know, we also like to include completing all of the warnings in addition to the errors. But going through this page and really cleaning up anything that is a warning or an error should get that page fully optimized for that specific target keyword that you searched.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is an amazing tool, right? As we learned, Google no longer ranks entire websites. Google now ranks certain sections on a website or even certain pages. So this tool is really an amazing, support for you to really get very, very granular on a page-by-page level. Also, it has a link analysis. So I took a look at the backlink analysis for this particular page, and we're going to talk more about backlinks in a second here. But the more high-quality backlinks you have referring back to this page, theoretically, the better it will do. So this is the backlink analysis for this particular page. Let's just take a look at the the referring domains. So check it out. Eventbrite is linking back. PRLog, we'll talk about PRLog in a second. I teach for the University of Strasbourg, so they're linking back. So really high quality backlinks, right? Look at this, domain trust, extremely high. So this page is doing well. Okay, let's head back here. Then this is a big one, the performance section. Play around with this, right? You can, I think, get data back for 16 months. You can also compare, you know, time over time. Let's click here on apply. That's when this the Bold SEO marketing site got hit. So I guess this site as well. So we have a little bit of work to do when we get ready to optimize this page. So you can get a lot of information on a page level, country, devices, etc., etc. The what we look at when we do these micro SEO strategies, you know, what pages are already performing well. Simply click on that. Then you can get very granular in terms of what queries is this page ranking for, right? So this is also a way to identify these low-hanging fruit keyword opportunities. Discover if your content is showing up in Google News. This is not a news website, so not concerned about that. Index coverage, we spoke about this yesterday, right? There are some excluded pages. This is a big one, crawled, currently not indexed. Apparently, these two pages are no longer indexed in Google's database. So we're gonna refresh this content. Then make sure you do have a sitemap. Look at that, big one. We do not have a sitemap on this website. So, I mean, we haven't touched it in years and years. Removals, you can actually automatically remove content from your website that you don't want to be indexed by Google. This is a big one. This is a new section, the experience, page experience. It has not enough data to populate the information here, but take a look at your website if you get more traffic. Core Web Vitals also doesn't have enough data, but you would get, for a bigger website, really good information here. Mobile usability, you know, great. All of the pages are valid. That's a big one. Breadcrumbs. Let me talk about security. This is a big one. Manual actions. Some websites have been hit by a manual action by Google. If you see a red check mark here, not a good thing, right? You're going to have to fix that. Then also security issues. Is there anything, you know, has your site potentially been hacked, right? Daniel, what do we do now for our customers in terms of website security?
Yeah, and the reason we do it is because, you know, one of the clients that we had was hosted at a hosting company that's pretty legitimate. I forget the name of it, but it was one of the big players. But I think it was a WordPress website, and they hadn't updated the WordPress plugins for a very long time, and the WordPress version was also very outdated. And what happens with WordPress, and I think we talked about this a little bit in one of the previous sessions, is WordPress needs to be updated. And the main reason is because anytime that it's outdated, it becomes a security issue. Hackers can create programs that will break into the website by these flaws in these outdated plugins. And this specific website got hit. He got infiltrated by a virus. And the cool thing is, if you get the virus and you fix it before Google reindexes it, you're good. But if Google reindexes the website and it's actually infected, then you get penalized. And on the security tab there, it'll show you. And what happens is then, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you search for a specific site, and for a couple days, it's going to say this site has been infected. Be very careful. Don't click on this result. And then what happens after that is you simply are removed from search results, and they put you in a sandbox, essentially, which takes a very long time to get away from. So this specific client actually took 6 months before Google started re-indexing the website again to make sure that the website was fixed, clean, and it was no longer an issue with viruses. So The reason I'm saying this is because creating a very robust security around the website is extremely important. That goes into a lot of different steps, but the two important ones are, number one, make sure that you are either yourself updating your website or you're in a hosting environment that is updating the hosting and the WordPress for you automatically. If you log into WordPress and you click on the plugin section, you will see in there that there's a place where you can tell plugins to automatically update themselves. I highly recommend doing that. But last but not least is really getting a firewall and a VPN installed. One of the companies that we recommend clients to sign up for is called Sucuri. They recently just got bought by GoDaddy, but what Sucuri will do is they will put inside your server what they call a server-side check. So from inside the server, they're constantly checking, and if there's any infiltrations into the website, Sucuri immediately flags it, fixes it, it updates it so it doesn't happen again. So all of this happens before Google even sees it. So, I would recommend, if you're working on a WordPress website or if you have a WordPress website, Sucuri is something really, really interesting and definitely a wise investment to, peace of mind to prevent anything like this happening, to your site.
And we'll put the link of Sucuri into the follow-up email and in the recording, the bottom, the note section. Then international targeting. This is also an important one. So right here, you can set your target country. The Chris Ralph website, I want to be found globally, but I could set basically, hey, I want to target people in the US and Switzerland, etc. So take advantage of that if you're targeting a specific country, right? Then links, we're gonna talk about this in a second, but basically you get all the information directly from Google. What pages are linking back to you, internal linking, etc. And then last but not least, click on settings, make sure everything is fine. A big thing here is make sure that Google actually crawls your website. Google assigns a crawl budget to each website. You want to make sure that you have a little green check mark here that Google actually pays attention to your website, that it crawls your website. You don't want it to go straight down. That'd be a bad sign, right? Usually a lot of stale websites, Google doesn't pay attention to those anymore. So it's very important that you create relevant content on a regular basis, so that Google continues to crawl your website. All right. So again, this is an awesome tool. You need to take advantage of Google Search Console.
And a quick note on that too, internally, we use it for two things. We use it for when we first start working on a website to really get an initial audit of where it's at. But every one of our project managers actually looks at this monthly. So at the end of the month, we always go back in here and re-look at this, because a lot of things change, right? Things change either on the website that gets picked up here. And the other thing that changes a lot is Google changes what they flag and what they don't flag on their algorithm side. So something that might have been a green, check mark, all of a sudden becomes a red check mark. So it's always important to keep an eye on this. And at least once a month is what I would recommend.
Absolutely. All right. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Additional components of a successful micro-SEO strategy. We showed how incredibly successful these micro-SEO strategies can be, right? Again, Google will now rank certain sections of a website or even individual pages. So this is truly your opportunity to potentially outrank the biggest companies in the world. It doesn't happen automatically, right? You have to put in the hard work. So you guys have access now to all of these process tools. So again, this is the micro-SEO strategy template that you guys can use. On the side here, we will usually categorize, okay, is it a strategy task? Is it on-page SEO? functional, off page, etc., etc. So you need to assign relevant and specific tasks that are important for your micro SEO strategy. All right. That being said, you do have access to this template, so feel free to edit as you see fit, add tasks as you see fit. I'm going to let Daniel show actually what we use for our internal templates when we develop these micro SEO strategies for our clients. This is basically a nice overview of how we do things here.
Yeah. So the way we do is, like, if you're looking at this template, and this is an internal template that we use to manage a micro strategy. So once we create a micro strategy, let's say that I'm going to add it here to row 3, you'll see that it continues as a linear horizontal line of activities. And I'll walk you through this real quick. And each one of these columns is essentially an activity that needs to happen in order. So remember on Tuesday, I was talking about micro strategies, and really the difference between a micro strategy and a traditional SEO kind of campaign is that the traditional SEO campaign is more like a shotgun, right? You're spreading your bullets around into a wide area around the website. And what a micro strategy is, I mentioned back then, it's more like a sniper, right? In this example, when I did this presentation to the team, I said, hey, this template outlines really the strategy of a micro strategy, which is really kind of a spear. Every single activity is pushing, that spear forward with one laser focused goal in mind. So here's how we use it internally, right? I would say, okay, priority number 1, because this is our micro strategy that we're working on. And this is something that we are in the process of implementing. So let's say row 2, I'll get rid of. And I'm going to say, all right, well, this is going to be a new page, right? Or if it's going to be a page that exists and we're going to be rewriting it, then I will put in the page name, the page URL, what keywords, the original keywords that were in there, and if we're going to update the keywords, and what are the opportunities. And this is how we as a strategist will say, this is going to be micro strategy number 1. And we talked about this in the strategy. We're going to say, this is a great opportunity because of X, Y, Z reasons. And you're going to agree. And then we're going to say, okay. And it's really important that we're all on the same page, because a lot of what we're going to do over the next 2-3 months is focused on this page. So once we get an agreement on that, then you're going to see every one of these yellow items is really the on-page micro strategy implementation. So first step is we create a wireframe, right? We looked at that whiteboard presentation a few days ago. Then once that wireframe is approved, we create the design layout. What is that page going to look like? And we create the content for that page. Once the content's in page, we're going to optimize the meta tags and meta information, do the schema, and then we're going to upload it to the website. Once it's uploaded to the website, we're going to do internal linking. And if it's a PR, we're going to submit that PR. But if it's just a page content on the site, then it's not applicable. Then we're going to make sure to go to Google Search Console, have it re-index. We're going to do that one-page audit, the one I just talked about in a second. We're going to put the keyword, the one-page audit, see any other missing opportunities in here. And then we're going to add it to our social media calendar. Why? You'll see later today, we're going to talk about why social media is so important, and why social media is so important specifically for SEO reasons. This here is very important. Why? Because now that we created this piece of content, we're going to want to refer to it in our social media communication. We're going to want to link back to it. And how do we organize that? Well, we have something that we call our social media calendar, which is actually this tab right here. Right. And this is one of the things that when they get added here, our social media manager knows that when they're creating content, this piece of content new that we're going to outline here needs to be talked about. So now we have completed the implementation and this new page is there and it's beautiful and Google loves it. Then we continue the activities into the blue, which is all of the off-page stuff, the link building. How do we tell the world about this new page, right? So again, the first thing that we're going to do, create a press release, talking about that page. We're going to do some content syndication. We're going to do some link building. We're going to do a Google business profile if applicable. We're going to create a LinkedIn showcase page, an about me page. Again, it goes on and on with a lot of different activities. And here it's where it's very important to do high quality link building, which Chris is going to talk about a little bit today. in more detail, and really try to stay away from the old traditional bulk link building, which you see in a lot of vendors still do that, right? For a certain fee, they'll get 20, 30 links built on a monthly basis. That's not what link building is all about. We're going to talk about that in more detail. But really, this that I've outlined here is what a MicroStrategy is and how we organize it internally. Because when I sit down with a project manager and a client, I say, hey, is this going to be our MicroStrategy? Well, good. So you know that for the next 2-3 months, this is going to be task number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is really in a chronological order. So it makes it very simple for us to organize. It makes it very simple for us to keep consistency of the activities that we do anytime we select a MicroStrategy. And it also allows us to make sure that we're not skipping any steps or not skipping any important things if we're following this process every time. So once we actually go through and we've created the page and we've launched the page and we're doing all of this link building and we're doing all of these additional things, and the reason that these are empty here is because then this is a base recommendation that's good for every website, but every page is going to have its own opportunities. What directories can we add you to? What conferences can we? That's when the project manager itself and the client will find other opportunities. And then once we actually get through this MicroStrategy, then we get back here and we say, all right, well, let's now focus on MicroStrategy 2. And then again, we follow that process again. So this is how internally we use the model of a MicroStrategy, but using this template makes it very easy for us to make sure that we are following every single step. And then we're applying everything that needs to be applied consistently to every MicroStrategy.
Awesome. Yeah, this is the magic sauce here. And then Jennifer, you had a question. I think this is what you were asking. How do I see? Oh, did I already crawl? Yeah. So basically, you're gonna plug in the page, and then you're gonna do test live URL. You wanted. I think you asked, how do I see the code of the page that I'm testing? This usually takes a little bit of time. Hopefully, let's see how long it's we're gonna come back here, but then I'll show you where you're gonna click on to get to that code, how Google sees each and every page, right?
Another question.
All right, let's see, there's another question. Eric, hey Chris, I came in a few minutes late. Do you have a tiny URL link to the Markham template for Micro-SEO Strategy planning? Yes, I'll send that in the follow-up email. So basically, that's the one that we're gonna share. Yeah, I'll go ahead and actually I can just plug that into, send it to everybody in case you wanna make a copy right now. So here we go. And then Eric, we started to cover Micro-SEO strategies in Tuesday session. So definitely make sure to watch the recording of that video. All right, Jennifer, here we go. So basically click on view tested page. This is how Google sees your code right here. And then this is basically visually what Google's processes, right? So awesome information here. All right, let's carry on. Okay, so as Daniel just mentioned, right, backlinks still very important for SEO. It's like one of the things that Google, I think, still is sort of struggling with, right? Back in the day, all you had to do is buy backlinks. Quantity mattered, and I'll explain that in a second. Nowadays, it's all about quality. One backlink from one relevant, super high quality website is worth like all the money in the world as it relates to SEO. We'll explain that in a second here. All right, you will get the link to the slides so you can read up about the history of Google. Google was officially launched in 1998. back then, or like in 96, when Google was still called Backrub, the algorithm was basically based on backlink data, right? How many pages, other pages, linked back to certain pages. And that was the most important ranking signal. That was basically the beginning of Google, right? They figured out an algorithm looking at how many pages are linking back to other pages. And then this is how they ranked, pages in their search engine results pages. Now, what is it, like nearly 30 years later? Holy cow. Obviously, the algorithm is completely different. And we spoke about the algorithm in the first session. So if you haven't watched this session yet, go back and watch the recording. But the Google algorithm is like the most sophisticated, I think, piece of software at this point on earth, right? This is why everybody uses Google. We trust Google that they will show us the best possible content in relation to a search term. Yet backlinks still matter, but I want to show you that it's not about quantity, it's actually about quality and how you can get these quality backlinks. All right, this is a Serp analysis, search engine results pages analysis. Again, we're using SE ranking in relation to the search term pour spouts. Right there, this is our the micro strategy that we did for cruise supply. They are now organically #1 for this search term, right? They are now, this page is relevant for nearly 600 keywords. And this is who we beat, right? Let's take a look at the backlink profiles. All right, BevSpot, 14 backlinks. Web restaurant, web store, run store, 50 backlinks. Walmart, 64 backlinks to that particular page. Bar products to that page, 27. Cruise supply, we only have 8 backlinks, the least amount of backlinks. Let's dissect the backlink profile of that page, all right? As Daniel mentioned earlier, when we dissected the individual tasks of a micro strategy, this is a press release, right? We do use PR log. We've tested all of the press release distribution platforms. PR log, in our opinion, is the most effective and least expensive press release distribution platform. I'll talk more about PR log in a second here. All right, domain trust 89. This is what it looks like. This is PR log. You can just go to prlog.org and start to create your own press releases, distribute them globally throughout the US, or whatever market you are targeting. All right. Then, Daniel, let's quickly talk about link building, link earning. For this particular micro strategy, we got Cruise Supply a placement in this AC Big Media platform. This is basically digital PR, right? Where we get our customers placements in online publications and they get a link back to that particular page.
Correct.
Just briefly talk about the importance. I mean, it is a lot of manual work, right? But well worth it.
It is because what you're doing is you're actually reaching out, talking to these publications, sharing them the quality of the piece of content, and really through communication. They show an interest of really talking about and referring back to that. And when something like this happens, this is the best link that one could possibly find, right? Where it's a highly respected publication that's including your link in there, and it's not a paid link, right? There's still a lot of talk today about what works, what doesn't work. Is paid links still work? Paid links don't work, and different people will say different things. And it is my thinking that some people still get away with paid links, just because that's the nature of the business and it's always been. But I really think that Google's moving in the direction of trying to pick up and penalize paid links and give more importance to organically generated links. So that's really what we try to do, is we try to really, work with high quality links that we think are going to be the future of link building and the future of what Google's looking for. Why? Because we've all seen, right, Google algorithm updates that all of a sudden change, and then all of a sudden you're getting penalized for a bunch of links that you built in the past that you weren't getting penalized for, but all of a sudden you are, right? We've seen that happen over and over with links. In a real good way that we feel that is the safest way to build links is really build links with what we think Google's looking for 6 months from now, not necessarily just now. And that's why for us, these high quality relationship based links are so important.
Absolutely. All right. And then Eric, yes, everybody will receive a follow-up email with the links to the first and second session, as well as today's session. So if you're registered for this course, you will get a summary email with everything you need, including links to the recordings. All right. Daniel, I'm gonna let you talk here again. Internal linking, it's the ultimate low-hanging fruit linking opportunity, right?
Yes.
So again, we have tools where we can identify, how many internal pages are linking to pages on your website. Just use SE ranking. Do the website audit, and then go to crawled pages right there, so you can examine what pages are actually linking internally to your pages. You want to make sure, as with external links, you want to make sure that those pages are actually relevant, right? That they have a connection to the content that's on each respective page. Daniel, that's also a task in our strategy.
It is. So one of the items there was the internal linking, and internal linking, like external linking, is linking, right? And the way that we see internal linking is that it's a very underused technique that most people don't use it well enough, right? So linking from pages to pages in the website, very, very important. When we do it ourselves, there's a whole process that we follow, not only just to kind of randomly pick pages, but to pick the pages that are going to give that page the most important boost, right? Couple just simple examples to look at. Number one, obviously, which pages are more relevant, right? Which pages are talking about or mentioning that specific page that you can naturally link to. Second, you want to get pages that currently have a good high page authority. How do you find that out? Well, again, through search SE ranking, you can do a audit to see which of the pages of these pages that are relevant, that have the most inbound links to them and have the most traffic. Those are usually the pages that, if you can choose from, that you will want to choose to link to this other page, because then these pages with more juice with those links will redirect some of that juice to this one page that you're linking from. So internal linking, very important. There's a lot of different steps that you can take to make sure that you're adding the right links in the right pages to get the most traction. But absolutely, this is something that should definitely be looked at for every page that you're focusing on.
Yeah, and you're in total control, right? Getting external links, it's a little bit more challenging. Internal linking, the ultimate low-hanging fruit linking strategy. You can also head over to Google Search Console, click on links. They have a section on your internal links right there. And then, so check this out. You can also do a search in Google. Simply do site, then your website, and then a space, and then a keyword, right? If you want to find pages on a particular website that talk about transcreation, in this case, keyword transcreation instead of translation, right there. This is probably the easiest way to find pages on your website that discuss a certain particular topic. All right. Let's dig deeper here on link building and link earning. Definitely content on your website. You are in control, right? You want to create content that's way better than what's currently available out there. Like the micro-SEO strategies that we're building for our customers and internally. Naturally, those pages, when they rank at the top in Google, there's a really good chance that other websites will potentially link back to that page, right? Then have company experts or your management team, ideally the CEO, the COO, have them write for your blog. You know, this is content that people want to read, right? If the CEO or the CEO write content, it's usually well researched, it's applicable, it has a really good chance in getting, traction out there and people linking back. Let me just show you an example. Daniel published a blog post yesterday. You may not be already aware of this, but basically Google Analytics 4 is gonna replace Universal Analytics. It's a big deal. People are now starting to talk about, right? So this is the keyword that we're targeting, Google Analytics 4. Obviously, we help our customers implement Google Analytics, get the most out of Google Analytics. So I asked Daniel, hey, let's publish a really well-researched piece of content about Google Analytics. What's going to come up? Because this is stuff people are searching for in Google. So I can see here, we also got the help from internally, more technical people that deal with Google Analytics. But this is a very well-researched article. We took screenshots. It took quite a bit of effort to create this piece of content. I bet this will actually probably get quite a few backlinks. So not only is this article going to benefit from these backlinks, but the overall website as well. Good job, Daniel.
Thank you. And on that note, that blog post right there came from an internal need. Right? I think when we initially started looking at that GA4, we're like, oh my God, what is this? It's so different. And we didn't know how to use it. So we went through the process of really trying to understand it. And also, now that we understand it, educating our clients that not only is this something that they're going to have to understand, because Google is really going to migrate everybody over to this new Google Analytics 4. So it became as a process of educating ourselves and then being able to educate, our customers.
Exactly. Yeah, an awesome piece of content. Then create and publish interviews with industry experts. So I get more and more speaking gigs again in person. I'll meet other experts. I'm going to do industry experts. Well, I'll do a Zoom call. We'll discuss a very specific topic about SEO. Create a blog post around those interviews, embed the video. You're gonna get people to stay on that page. That's an easy way to create high quality content. Then create and publish industry resources pages, right? We could publish a page on our website with all the important blogs about SEO, something like that. That's a great piece of content that people naturally want to link back to. And then create and publish industry terminology and abbreviations page. It's also something people like to link back to. There are many other opportunities like that. So just think outside of the box, take a look at your industry, what people are doing, and then just replicate what's actually already working. All right, let's take a look at PR log. This is probably one of the easiest ways to generate backlinks for your website. Right there, this is a press release where we announced that I was speaking at a conference. And look at this, Bold SEO Marketing, a top-rated Denver SEO agency. boom, we're linking back to the Denver SEO location page, which also was a micro SEO strategy. Let me quickly show you. Let's see how we rank now, Denver SEO agency. We do an incognito search. Right there, #1, right? So this page where we were able to create these high quality backlinks, simply in this case, doing a press release, we're completely in charge of that backlink here. All right. Then you're looking at the Denver SEO location page, Micro SEO Strategy, where these are the keywords that we want this page to rank for. Simply do a Google search for that keyword. And then you'll find directories, right? In this case, Clutch, Obsidy, the Manifest, Expertise, Visual Objects on page 1 and 2. Most likely, you will be able to add your business to these directories at no cost. It actually counts as a backlink. I mean, it does not get easier than that, right? So just do a search for the keyword and see if there are directories on page number 1 and 2. Then, if you're well known, if you can get a Wikipedia page, you know, more power to you. This is one of the most important backlinks that you can get, although it's a no-follow backlink. But nowadays, you know, it's like a gray area. Google hasn't really admitted it, but follow, no follow, it doesn't really matter anymore. All right, then many of you are probably familiar with Google's knowledge panel. All right, if you a better known company, there is probably a Google knowledge panel that you can claim yourself. Here are the instructions. You can update that knowledge panel. You can include the right links, etc. Extremely powerful, right? This is actually a link from Google. So if you have a knowledge panel, just Google your company name. And if that shows up, you need to take advantage of claiming that knowledge panel and properly optimize it. Then link repositioning. All right, do a search for your company name. See what directories your you know, your company has been added to. Right there, you can probably, if it's not already claimed, claim that directory, that listing. Go into it, edit it, and add the link that you would like to, with this button there, website, right? We could potentially link that back to the Denver SEO location page so that we get initial backlink to that page. That's called link repositioning. Unlinked mentions, that's another big one. So I did this webinar for this, this company where I taught people how to optimize their pet business websites. Look at this, international SEO expert Chris Rolfe for Boulder SEO Marketing. There is no link back to our website. So that's called unlinked mentions. Simply do a search for, in the parentheses, Chris Rolfe for Boulder SEO Marketing, and then minus, and then the website, right, that you want to get links for. And right there, you will find information with, you know, who's talking about you, and identify potentially unlinked mentions. Reach out to them. You most likely already know these people and say, hey, would you mind adding this link to that page? All right, more link building, earning ideas, links from suppliers and vendors. Shoot me an email and said, hey, could you please add a link to this page? Links from associations and memberships, you know, just pay for a membership and usually you will get an active backlink. Q&A platforms. You can potentially log in and, you know, get a backlink in there. Guest blogging, reach out to industry websites that may be interested in posting content from you. Usually get a backlink in the About section where they talk about you. Content syndication, easy way to get a backlink. Hero, help a reporter. Basically, reporters are looking for information from, you know, various resources. Simply go to this website, sign up for an account. It's free. Offer your help. If they interview you, they will most likely also include a link to your website if that gets published. Sponsorship, sponsor somebody, ask for a backlink. Influencer marketing, right? Find the people that are influencers in your industry. It's usually pay to play, but it's well worth it if it's a well-known influencer. Every industry has influencers. They may not have a massive following, but if you get a backlink from somebody who's actually respected in that industry, it's a big win. And then, of course, strategic partnerships. Find people that you like, that you want to work with, and sort of like do a link swap or exchange. It's a little bit frowned upon by Google, but just do it in an ethical way. All right. Any questions about backlinks? That was a quick rundown of some of the easiest to implement backlink strategies and opportunities. All right, let's carry on here. Let's talk about off-page optimization. What is that? It's basically anything that happens outside of your website. All right. Google pays very, very, very close attention to what other people are saying about you, your website, etc. We are in control of some of these off-page optimization opportunities. And we want to show you a few low-hanging fruit opportunities that you can actually implement yourself. All right, so if you do a search for SEO agency Boulder, one of our keywords, so we do show up right at the top in the local map pack there. And I'll show you the dashboard of the Google business profile. We're quickly going to run through the most important sections here because there's a method to the madness on how to optimize your Google business profile so that you show up in the local map pack. Then fantastic, we're #1 in the text-based organic search results. However, check this out. This is a LinkedIn company page. All right. If you don't already have a LinkedIn company page, I highly, highly, highly encourage you create that LinkedIn company page. If you don't know how to do that, simply do a search, how to create a LinkedIn company page. You'll get step-by-step instructions. This is this LinkedIn company page that now shows up in Google search, right? In relation to our target SEO keyword. And as you can see there, actually, let me get to that page right here. It is extremely easy to optimize this page. Simply click on Edit Page. And then on the left side here, you have page information, plug in your name. You can create a dedicated URL, a tagline, that's sort of like the description tag. So try to use a keyword in there, in this case, affordable SEO solutions. Then buttons, this is actually a backlink, right? This counts as a backlink. Visit my website, sign up, register. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with these buttons. Then this is what it looks like. Then about, overview, description. You have, I think, 2,000 characters. Take advantage of that, these characters. At the end, plug in keywords that you want to be found for. All right. This is how we do it at the very end. So like separated by this pipe here. We found that it helps, right? Then again, the URL. We see plug in the information here. Oh yeah, and then speciality. Okay, I think you can add up to 20 tags, plug in the keywords that you want to be found for. Workplace. Let me see. I think that's a new section. Oh yeah. All right. I guess we're gonna have to update that. Location. This is our Denver location. This is our Boulder location. We need to add the Los Angeles location.
Yep.
All right. So add all of your locations. It helps Google understand, where you are, etc. Then hashtags, if that's important to you, add them here, right? And then if you have a LinkedIn group, make it a featured group. I do recommend take advantage of these free LinkedIn groups. We created the digital marketing and search engine optimization SEO best practices, tips and events. We have nearly 1,000 people that joined this group. It allows us to directly communicate with these people through the LinkedIn platform. So this is super easy to optimize if you take the time to actually go through everything that you can update. There's a really good chance that you can get another listing on page number 1 with this off-page entity right there. Look at this. I like to see those green arrows going up. Let me show you the results, how powerful this is and how money-making these strategies are. Look at this. Referral traffic from LinkedIn converts as an extremely high rate, okay? We get a lot of people that find us through LinkedIn. They click through to our website. That's called LinkedIn referral traffic. A lot of these people will reach out to us because they do need help with SEO. You are in control. I cannot emphasize this more, how important this is and how easy it is to implement. And we do this obviously for our clients as well. All right, let's talk about Google Business Profile Manager. This is another one of these absolutely you must do. So simply go to business.google.com and then you can claim your Google Business Profile. All right, you can post directly using a Google platform to publish content. Check this out. This is about the training. So Google will notice this URL. Okay, so regularly publish content to through your Google Business Profile Manager. You can also do offers, what's new, events, etc. I mean, this is a very unknown section, I believe, on this extremely important off-page platform. Then information, make sure that this is updated on a regular basis. Service area. I think somebody sent me an email about, hey, how do I optimize my Google Maps listing? Well, it's right here, right? Service area, make sure that you tell people, hey, I'm doing business in this service area. You can do it on a, county by county basis, on a town by town basis, your time. Let me see, here we go. Again, that is a link to the Denver SEO page. It's sort of like an active backlink, right? Directly from Google. If you sell products, you can add your products right here. So if you're a brick and mortar store, please, 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 I would do use product sections, or list all of your products. You directly communicate with Google. They're now indexed in Google services. Those could, oh geez, black hat SEO, we definitely want to take that out. I think that was auto-generated. Jesus crikey. So pay attention to that, all right? Apparently
that was auto-generated.
Wow. This was automatically generated. By the way, Google updates their products on a regular basis. So this is why you need to come back in here and just check what is going on, right? So we definitely have some work to do. This is a cool section, Insights. How does your Google business profile perform? Check this out. A lot of people do see our Google business profile. We actually get a lot of leads, right? If you do a search, this profile shows up for a lot of these keywords. We do get a lot of quote requests from people finding our Google business profile. So they're ramping this up as we speak. Then obviously extremely important, right? Try to get reviews. There's nothing wrong with asking clients, hey, would you mind providing a review for us? Here's the link to our Google business profile. And then of course, make sure, please respond to these reviews. Oftentimes people will just leave a random review. Take the time to actually respond to these people. And, as part of this online course, we're going to ask you, please leave us a review if you like this class. So it would be greatly appreciated. It does help your Google business profile to be shown at the top in the map pack. All right. Then let me see, there's a dedicated section for products. Again, if you are a company that sells products, you do need to take advantage of this section. We do this for our clients. We directly communicate information about products directly to Google. As you can imagine, it's a really good chance that this will increase the visibility of those products in Google search. Add your services. Again, I think this was auto-generated. So this is definitely something we need to update. We most certainly don't do black hat SEO. I don't want to be associated with that. Then you can actually build a website through here. All kinds of things, right? So take advantage of this Google business profile. All right, Daniel, anything else about Google business profiles or?
No, that's it. I think the only two things is real quick on these services that we were talking about. One underused optimization is when you list your services, very few people actually put a description of what the service is. That's something that we're actually updating for ourselves now because we didn't have it in there. Adding a description for each service with keyword optimization in there is a super valuable. And then the other thing about the site that he just showed you, the site that's linked to the Google business page, Google actually generates a site for you and launches it. So if you look at it, the site is there. It's an awesome opportunity for you to go in there and beef it up, right? They're not optimizing it for you. They're just creating this website. Go in there, put some additional information, create some links to it, create some links for it. Make sure that it becomes a little bit more robust from what you get out of the box. Again, another really great opportunity. And I don't know if you remember, but from that document that I showed you with all of the columns, optimizing the Google site is one of the items in there.
Absolutely. And, even if you're like a brand new business, you're just getting started, hopefully the information that we're covering in this course is useful. But I think a big takeaway for you, if you're a brand new business, you don't need to spend a lot of money on website development when you get started, right? Just go here, create one of these sites that are offered by Google. As Daniel said, they actually pre-populate content. It couldn't be easier nowadays to launch your own business. And with the knowledge that we're teaching you, you can dominate your, your keywords. So even if you're a micro business, I mean, you have every opportunity to be successful with the knowledge that you're learning here and through these services that are like free, right? It doesn't get better than that. So hopefully that's gets you a little bit excited if you're a brand new business. Mm-hmm. Right? And then make sure that you always use the same address. Basically make sure that, just Google your business, make sure you use that address across other directories if you are claiming other directories. It just helps Google better understand who you are, where you are, etc. All right, let's talk about my favorite topic, social media. No, so social media for SEO, it is extremely important. We offer that as part of our engagements for our customers if they don't already have a social media team or somebody doing social media at their company. It simply has to be part of your SEO strategy. So if we do it for our clients, we're not going to do it to get a lot of engagements, people talk about, this or that. It's primarily done for SEO. This is how we do it, right? This goes back to the SEO Project Worksheet that we discussed in the first session. Make sure complete buyer persona profiles for who you want to get to your website. Right there, write down what social media platforms those people are using. This will dictate what kind of social media platforms you need to be on. All right. And then please use our social media calendar. Daniel showed another calendar earlier that we use internally. This will do, right? You do have access to these worksheets. So basically, think about all the platforms on the left side here, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn status updates for your management team. Company page, there's also LinkedIn showcase pages, whatever, all these platforms that you need to be on, just add them here. Then, I would develop these messages in a central place so that somebody else can take a look at it, potentially approve it. So write your message here. This will automatically count the characters, which for some platforms is important. Twitter, you're limited to about 230 characters because you're also going to include a link. LinkedIn status updates, 600 characters, etc., etc. Write your messages here, get it approved. Have a team, have like a body system on how to develop and publish social media. Then, there are many platforms such as Hootsuite where you can schedule the publishing of your social media messages in advance. We try to do it like a week or two in advance. So just plug these messages in there once they have been drafted and approved. And then I want to show you a quick, really cool tool. A lot of businesses, they make the mistake, they only talk about themselves, right? It's always blowing your own horn. It gets really boring. It's a turn off for your audience. So this tool allows you to social media about third-party content, yet you will be able to drive people back to your website. Check this tool out. It's called Snipply. It basically allows you to create like an overlay that you're seeing back here, right? So we publish a message where we talk about something that was, relevant to this page here. And then it creates a snip. They call it a snip. where you can add basically on any website an overlay where, hey, looking to start implementing an SEO strategy for your business, click here. This will then drive people back to your website or a specific page. So this is an awesome tool that I recommend you take advantage of. All right. Then if you put effort into going through all the hassles of actually implementing an SEO strategy, you might as well measure, monitor, and try to improve what you are doing. Use a tool such as SE Ranking to track the rankings of your keywords. Don't look at this every day. I would look at your rankings maybe on a monthly basis, but see if, if you're going up or down. If you're going down, there's something wrong, right? You need to fix that. Then create a simple dashboard like that, where, and by the way, you also have access to this dashboard in the spreadsheets that we shared. Grab data from Google Search Console right here, and then plug it in on a monthly basis. Grab data from Google Analytics or from your social media platforms, if that's important to you. And then measure, make sure that you're actually seeing improvements. That is the goal if you are spending time doing search engine optimization. Daniel, we do way more sophisticated reporting for our clients, right?
Not really. I mean, we do and we don't, because what happens is we have so much data, right? We can bombard our clients with mountains of papers of, exports from Google Analytics and Google Search Console and SE Ranking. I think what we try to do is we put a lot of work into creating very simple reports to look at. And that's really where all of the work comes in, because it's easy to overwhelm, right? Hit export and send out a report. The hard part is we actually spend 2-3 hours at the end of the month really putting together a report that comes down to 3-4 pages, right? So I think, yes, it's a complex process. There's a lot of complex numbers there, but I think really if you're making it easy on yourself to be able to look at and make it easy on yourself to understand what's going on, it's about simplifying and really coming up with something that you're seeing on the screen right now. Right? It's picking up these different KPIs in there and putting it together into a box like this, so you can see the overall health and trends of all of these very important metrics.
Yeah, and again, you have this template available in the worksheet. Especially if you report somebody else, impress them by showing the success of your hard work. All right. And then, use tools, SE Ranking, Analytics, Search Console, all these social media platforms, they have built-in insights. Don't spend too much time. Again, our project managers, they probably spend, 2 to 3 hours for the end of month reports, right? To provide insightful information that actually makes sense. That was it. Daniel, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah. I hope that this presentation or this class was useful. We meant to do this in person. That obviously did not happen. So that's why we decided to teach this class online. I mean, we love teaching. We're educators, I think, first, and then, we happen to do SEO. I think we do it really well for our clients, but we love teaching. I have, again, a lot of gigs lined up, so maybe I'll meet some of you in person. So that being said, we are open for questions.
And while questions come in, just one note on the comment of the reporting. The 2 hours that we spend creating reports is, gathering that information from different places. That's simple to do. But I think, like I mentioned on the Search Console, that's something that we look at every month. the tech audit every month. So there's certain things that at the end of every month, we always rerun. We look at the low-hanging fruit opportunities every month. And the idea is that in the report at the end of the month, it's not just about, hey, this is where you are and this is where you were, but these are the activities that we did and what activities are we going to do next month. And that's based on revisiting a lot of those reports. And that's the majority of this kind of end of month reporting really goes into that, is like looking at all of the stuff that we went over these 3 days again to see if there's any opportunities that we should be leveraging.
Yeah. And then Eric, question, could you re-summarize the tech report? We did it in Tuesday's presentation.
That is
right?
correct.
Yeah. So I'll send you the link to the session. It was quite a long segment. So make sure to watch the recording of the second session. Too long to cover here, unfortunately. Thank you for the feedback. People are telling us that this session was helpful. We still have a little bit of time for Q&A if there are any questions. Otherwise, I know it was a lot of content. We're probably going to host in-person workshops again. We're probably going to do those in California and Florida, where we do a full day workshop, where we're going to sit down with attendees, actually do exercises, show you exactly how it's done. So this is a nice little summary of the things that you should be doing. You have a big picture of what needs to be done, how it's done. So hopefully it's helpful. We're open for business. If you don't want to do this yourself, you're welcome to reach out. We'll send a survey. Would really appreciate it if you could complete that survey. And yeah, it's been a blast. It's in the box. This is being recorded, available for the world to see.
Yes, yes. And in retrospect, looking back at these 3 days, I think this was very successful, because I think one of your main goals as you were putting a lot of this content together was to outline what our process is, right? Essentially, the 3 days of information is exactly what we do, our project managers do. And I think you presented it in a very easy and linear format to follow. So I think hopefully you guys really took the knowledge of, yes, if you actually do these things in these steps, you have all the information that you need to be able to run a very successful SEO campaign, as far as we kind of see a successful campaign going. And for the most part, all of our clients are seeing great results. So I think a lot of what we're recommending here really works.
Yeah. All right, Mary, thank you so much for your feedback. Eric, greatly appreciate it. There. Cool. I think I'm going to stop the recording here. We do wish you all the best. Again, feel free to reach out if you'd like to talk shop. Jennifer, thank you so much. That's what we like to hear. If you see me speak in person, please come and say hi. I'm going to be in Silicon Valley soon. And then hopefully again, all over the world, getting more and more requests to talk about these micro strategies. Yes, hopefully out east soon again. Cool. I'm going to stop the recording here, but then we're going to stay online for a little bit longer. If you're watching this as an on-demand recording, I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, much success and stay safe and healthy.